Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of Fairycember. This one is from day 4 and the theme was Wind Fairy. So for Wind Fairy, I had this idea in my head that I really wanted to kind of sketch out, but it just wasn't coming out no matter what I did. So I went through quite a few different sketches before I found the one that I feel like really encompassed the feel of the drawing, the idea of wind the most. And I'm starting out this video by doing the sketch in Procreate with my Apple Pencil and the iPad 2017. Yeah, 2017, use the words. If you want to know about that setup, then I'll leave a link to the review I did in the right hand corner, so definitely check that out. And then I print out the sketch from Procreate and I continued traditionally while using my markers. So after I do the sketch in Procreate, I just print out the rough sketch and I take out my light pad, I transfer it onto a marker paper, I do a little bit more refining and I do the line art on that paper as well, and then I get ready to do the coloring. I skip those parts just so it would be a little bit more interesting, a little bit faster for this video, but in future I'll definitely show the whole process, so definitely watch out for that. So I'm using my Copic sketch markers to do the coloring. I also use the Copic multi-liner for the line art. If you want a list of like all the materials that I use, then definitely check out the video description below. I have everything listed there and where you can get them as well. I really like the other sketch that I had started in Procreate at first as well, and I kind of like that a little bit more than this one, but I really feel like this one it just was more wind fairy than the other one was. It really encompassed the feel of wind for me, so I ended up going with this one. I was a little unsure at first, but I don't regret it in the end. I feel like it was the perfect choice. For her outfit, I was really unsure what to draw for her. I felt like she kind of needed something there. I didn't want to make her just completely, nude. But I really felt like if I tried to add clothing onto her, it would change the flow and form of her body and it would just not be as interesting of a picture. I really want the flow to feel like there's a big gust of wind coming up, or maybe she's twirling in the wind or creating wind since she's the wind fairy. I'm not sure, but I just really wanted to preserve that shape. So I ended up doing something that I would do when I draw mermaids, where I just kind of gradient out the skin tone and then bring up the color of her like quote unquote dress. So it kind of like, it's very magical feeling because it's just like a gradient. It just goes from one color to the next and it looks really nice. And I just used the colorless blender to help make the edges a little bit more translucent and just like the swish and flick type method of applying the marker just to get that effect. And it looked really good. I was really happy with it. I was a little worried that it would look a little awkward in the end, but I'm really happy that it turned out good. And I also was able to add a little bit more color into the drawing, so I'm really happy with that as well. So as for picking colors for a wind fairy, that one was really tough. I was really unsure what colors to pick at first. The first thought I had was blue, but I know that I had just drawn the snowflake fairy and she was all blue, and the next fairy on the list is ice fairy, and I know I'm going to use blue for that too. So I really wanted something a bit different, but I still wanted to use a little bit of blue, so I ended up making her like quote unquote dress blue. And the other color, I just, sat and thought to myself, like, what colors do I associate with wind? And I just thought to myself, I usually think of wind, I think of like the sky, which would be blue, and I also think of like wind blowing through the trees and bushes and such, so that would be green. So I ended up going with green, and I wanted a really nice soft green, so I went with colors of similar tone. The blue and the green are both kind of similarly toned, and I did lots of like testing with the colors to make sure that they kind of work together. And as for the hair color, I wanted a color that would really go well with both the blue and the green, so I ended up going with the blonde hair color, and I thought the yellow was just like a nice touch. I gave her light skin tone because I just really wanted to use this combination of colors that I recently discovered for skin tone. I really like how they go together. And again, if you want to know what colors they are, definitely check out my Patreon because I told my berries all the colors and exact way that I apply it. I'm really happy with this combination. It's like the perfect pale skin tone. I'm really happy that I discovered this. The color for her hair was a little bit more difficult to get because I felt like the color I had done in a color study on Procreate was just perfect, and I didn't have a yellow marker that fit that tone exactly well. in my marker collection, so I ended up using 2 yellows together. I used the Y21 for a really nice soft yellow that worked really well with the other 2 colors, but I wanted there to be a bit more punch to it as well, so I ended up layering a bit of, I think it was like Y04 or Y06, to be honest I can't remember exactly which one, but that one's a bit softer too compared to the other ones in, you know, near it, the other colors near it, but it's also like really vibrant and really punchy. And I thought it was like a really nice combination to get like a really bright yellow, but also it matched the tone of the other 2 colors. To give the hair a little bit more interest, I ended up going in with a bit of the blush color that I used for her face. I feel like the pink just adds a little bit more shadow and a little bit more interest to the drawing. And I also wanted to continue the flow of her body and also bring in the blue from her dress. So I added a streak of blue to her hair. And I really wish I had remembered that I was going to do that when I first started coloring, because I ended up having to go over the yellow with the blue. I was really worried it was going to turn out to be super green, but it actually wasn't too bad. I just kept layering the blue over the yellow in the way that I wanted the streak to come out, and it actually looked pretty good in the end. It looked mostly blue, so I was really happy with that. Just to add to the magical feeling, I add a lot of little white dots to her wings, of course. I really love doing that. It's just kind of fun. I always feel like I have to do my best to get like the nice arrangement, because if you don't arrange it just nicely, it looks kind of sloppy, but if you get a nice flow to it, it looks really good. And I used 2 white gel pens for that. I used my Sakura white gel pen and my Uniball Signal pen, just to give more variation to the little sparkles, and I thought it looked really good in the end. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. So yeah, that is my Wind Fairy. I really hope you like her. If you did, definitely give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and thank you so much to my berries, my berry army, for supporting me. And if you want to join the berry army, then definitely check out my Patreon. The link is in the description below. And yeah, I'll be back with another video in the next couple days. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!